Hello, America, and welcome to another episode of the Random News. I'm Travis Dunn.
I'm Jennifer Lee.
I'm Batman.
Are you, though? Because I can see your face.
I'm Batman.
There you
A.K.A. John Courtney Miller.
go. Courtney. Where did Courtney come from?
Courtney Cox. She was on my brain earlier.
I bet Cox was on your brain. What?
Single. Michael Rosenbaum, just in case you didn't know, she's still single.
Her number is 555-1234.
No, it's really not. But that's cool.
I don't know. Will it get to her?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's probably the right number then. Okay.
675-309. There
It's
you
a
go.
900 number. So
Well, is it Jennifer? You're right. Yeah, we can go with that.
It's 1-900-555-1234.
Oh,
What's 19?
Messaging and data rates may apply.
Clearly, I'm not lonely enough to know what that number means.
I am.
Oh, okay. Do we have a story?
I know it well, actually.
I know rejection hotline number.
Yeah, I
You're
know
up.
that one too.
All right.
Every state.
You know, the funniest time was whenever I gave it to a guy and he said, "Oh, this looks familiar."
That wasn't funny.
That was hilarious.
That
You're up.
wasn't funny. Anyway, in Ohio, we have two neo-Nazis, ex-Marines, who pushed and cheered Haitian pet-eating claims gripping in Ohio City. My dog Daphne said, "Dad, we are not going by Ohio for a vacation. I don't care if it's a hoax or not."
But why would they push such claims? I guess those were the ex-Marines rather than the former Marines. So anyways,
Well, there's no such thing as an ex-Marine.
that's why since they're neo-Nazis pushing this agenda, they're
They're
ex-Marines
Right.
instead of former Marines.
Right. And, you know,
So
when you start,
anyways,
going with a, Nazi party.
Anyway,
going with the military thing here, overall inflation so far for 2024 has actually been so much better than the past few years. It looks like it will be around 3.1% at the ending, with it being 2.4% currently, which again is amazing from our previous 8+%. I think at like 8.7, 8.9% in 2023. Insane. So the vets, we generally get our cost of living increase to go along with inflation, and this year they're doing it at 2.5%. And I mean, it's kind of a nice bump, not as nice as it has been previously. And if you want a bigger increase, we'll just say that you're in your crane. Oh,
They'll give you billions.
oh yeah.
well, speaking of cost of living increases, apparently this Air Force veteran didn't like it and wanted some more because he was accused now of disclosing classified data on aircraft and various weapons in the latest military leak case, which, anything like the Pentagon, is, that's as leaky as a colander.
Did he ever, disclose what that brown stuff is at the mess hall?
That is shit on shingle.
I was gonna say it's recycled.
But
Has to do with
that's
the
for everybody else. He was probably wondering how to get back to the filet mignon lunches that they had at the Air Force bases.
Yeah. Air Force and their 5-star meals.
Yes.
These two are not good at all.
And there's like, is this quiche? And throws it across the room.
Oh, I like quiche.
What's going against quiche exactly?
Yeah.
This wasn't the right one for him, I guess.
Anyways,
Alrighty
we
then.
will have our quiche discussion while you watch
Commercials. Okay, what you got against quiche? Seriously, dude?
Welcome to the Green Bits, where we give you honest reviews in 30 minutes or less, or your fake money back. So I review many products for the show and try to give the most honest review. In this episode, we have actually tried Dozo D9 Smasher Gummies. These were actually rather affordable, around $3 per packet. Now, they come in many flavors: watermelon, blueberry, and tropical. Also bundled in these small gummies is Delta 9 live resin, THCP, HHC, and THC-JD. Yes, I had to look up those initialisms. These gummies have about 500 milligrams, so each is recommended to only use a fifth of each gummy. Otherwise, it feels like you've been smoking Willie Nelson nonstop for a week. But I have to say, the flavor was very interesting, to say the least. You know that feeling when you're rushing out of the house and you have that orange juice and then you remember, crap, I gotta brush my teeth. Yeah, that's the flavor combination we're talking about right there.
Oh.
All wonderfully wrapped up in a diabetic-inducing shell.
Yeah.
Mmm, delicious. For me, I really didn't feel any of those effects from the gummies other than the headache that felt like the Tasmanian devil was trying to escape my brain.
Oh.
Now, some may have other experiences with this product, but I would suggest going to their website and take a look at their other products. This may just be the one product that didn't agree with my physiology. But hey, your experience may be better than mine. Alright, that's all from me right now, and I'm going to go get some more aspirin because the Tasmanian devil's not quieting up at all. So, catch you next time in the Green Bits.
May I introduce the legendary Mr. Puttin on the Ritz himself, the synth master of the 1980s, Taco! How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Travis. Great to be on your show.
Thank you for coming. How is the weather there?
It's terrible. We're right in the middle of winter. We're expecting snowstorms tomorrow, and yeah, it's gray, no more leaves on the ranches, and this is the time to stay inside and cuddle in front of a fireplace.
When it snows, right there, fireplace, TV, maybe a few friends to come over. Good evening.
That's right.
Out of curiosity, how did you come up with Taco as your stage name?
Well, it is my birth name.
Birth name?
It's quite common in the Netherlands, and my parents found it in a baby book, actually, with boys' names in it. And yeah, for instance, the director of the big Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam is also called Taco. It's a common name in the Netherlands.
Ah. Well, it works. It's catchy here, too. It really is.
Hey, believe me, I had a hard time at school, I went to American schools ever since I was 9 years old, and it was a rough ride. It's like in the song "A Boy Called Sue."
The old Johnny Cash, yeah.
Yeah, so having a name like Taco, yeah, was tough. And the funny thing is, it means so much in so many different languages. And the funniest one to me is the one in Japan, where taco means octopus. And when I was touring Japan, we prayed there and hoped that our record would go into the charts there. And we were actually sponsored by Santori, whose logo, it's an alcohol company, and the logo is a little octopus. So that's where the circle closes. And they even made an album of my face and an octopus clinging around me.
I forgot about that in Japan. Octopus is taco when you go to a sushi restaurant.
That's right.
I have to ask. I was a big fan of yours when your first couple of albums came out in America. I just thought they were brilliant. What was your inspiration to take these 1930s masterpieces and turn them into synth-pop masterpieces?
Well, it's quite a funny story because, like, I come from the theater, and in my free time, I was always hanging out in the rock clubs here in Hamburg. And that's where I met the whole musical scene, the rock musicians, and we tried all kinds of styles of music. And I had the chance to work with a lot of good musicians, and we made demos, and we went shopping, from one record company to the other, and nobody was frankly interested. I was a bit frustrated when I got my very first record contract doing German Schlager music. Yeah, and I had this fantastic contract, but that's not really the kind of music I wanted to do. I went to the CEO of Polydor and said, please do me a favor. I want to sing in English. I want to do a complete different style of music. And then he says, well, then we have to rip up the contract between us. And I go, well, okay, if that's the price I have to pay. So here I was a young lad, finally had a record contract, but with the wrong style of music. And then I had some time to think about, what am I going to do now? And since I came from the theater, I had done shows like Sweet Charity. We had just done Chicago. And then I came up with this idea, take the American Songbook, and new wave music was just coming up in the early 80s. And so I thought that could work. Electronic backing tracks to the American Songbook. And I finally found a producer. I went around with that idea. And David Parker really dug the idea. And he brought in Werner Lang, who was the oldest of us three. And he knew all that material. So that's how we collaborated. David was a renowned producer from the pop side. I came from the theater, the whole theatrics, and Werner knew the songbooks. So that together, combined, came up with the idea to do Puttin' on the Ritz.
You took a genre that hadn't been done in a while, synthed it up, and boom!
Well, it wasn't such a boom effect because the funny thing is nobody was interested in it. And I had a deal with Peer Southern, which is a publishing company. And what happened was when the big bosses sat together, that's how it used to work. Said, okay, I want that and that artist, and if you get those, then you have to take Taco on too. And that's how I got involved with RCA Records. And they just put it out, and nothing happened. And it wasn't until a half a year later that I was invited to Sweden, of all places, and they said, "Would you do promotion over here because your single, I had only a single, is doing really well over here in Sweden." So they flew me in, and I worked one of the biggest discos at that time, and they said, "Oh my God, look at the audience! The guys were all dressed in tuxes, the girls in gorgeous evening gowns," and I said, "Oh, I think I started something over here." And by the time I came back to Germany, the LP After 8 had gold status. The only thing that they didn't know was that I didn't have an LP. All I had was a single. So
how fast did you cut that album?
You can imagine we worked day and night to get that LP After 8 done, so they could start selling it to the Scandinavian audience. And then it really started taking off, from Scandinavia down to Europe. And then all of a sudden Germany caught on and said, my God, if it's doing that well in Scandinavia, we should jump on that boat too. And that happened in every single country. And by the time I was finished with Europe, and it was about time for me to take a break, a holiday, they said, no way, because you're bubbling under in the United States. You have to fly over there now. I go, okay.
And now you're going to where actually this music originated from.
Exactly, yeah. So that was awesome. It was a real awesome time for me. It was incredible. Like my premiere was in Los Angeles, and our guest of honor, it was in the private home of Liza Minnelli's first husband, Peter Allen. And the guest of honor was Sammy Davis Jr.
The Candyman.
Oh my God. My very first show in the States with a new band. And then the guest of honor is Sammy Davis. And I was just freaking out. It was very, very difficult to keep my cool.
Sammy Davis Jr., so cool.
And the madness just went on. I got to meet so many wonderful people. I got to do the Bob Hope special. I did a Solid Gold with those amazing dancers. It was just incredible.
I don't want to climb no mountain. I don't want to swim no creek. All I ever want to do with you, honey, is dance cheek to cheek.
One of the definite highlights was then meeting the Reagans when they came home, and we had a tour of the White House and he really liked the music, and yeah, I mean, no, when do you get the chance as a pop artist, to hang out with the president of the United States?
Yeah, why not? I'm in town. I got nothing to do for lunch. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So Travis, it's been an incredible roller coaster ride for me up till today. I just can't believe all my blessings. Officially, I'm retired, but nobody's letting me retire. So
What do you mean retired? You got a new single out, Bellamy.
That's right. That's another hit from the 30s. It was a real big thing here in Europe, but it was never really released in the States because it had no English lyrics. So I sat down and wrote English lyrics to it, and that's what we came up with.
Well, it came out very, very well.
Yeah, it was a hoot doing that. We for the video we rented a burlesque club, yes. And then we brought in Hamburg's most famous drag queens, and we had a hoot shooting that.
It looked like a lot of fun, but it harked back to some of your other works before. I heard that in the song.
Well, we tried to captivate the sound of the 80s. And my partner and I, Tim Helmers, who's a producer, we really sat down and browsed through the music library to get those exact sounds that we used back in the 80s. And it was very challenging, and I think we did a good job on that.
A composition Cupid sent from up above, a choir of angels praising every note of love, and as it rings and sings from ear to ear, for everyone to hear.
Lucky guy flying high, Bellamy.
You brought up videos, and it just dawned on me. Where was Puttin on the Ritz, the actual video shot?
In Belgium, in Brussels. They flew me in, and the director found an old department building, which was about to be torn down. And that was the setting. And we worked on that 24 hours because I had no time. They flew me in, and I just had to leave. So we had 24 hours to shoot that, and a lot of right on the spur work.
Improv.
So the idea, I knew the idea, but certain details, we had to work out on spot on the set. There was debris everywhere, and they had these fires everywhere, and I was covered with soot from these tin fires, and then we had rats. The rats showed up, and it was the most awful working place you could choose, but I'll do anything for a good result.
What else you want to talk about? Any new projects coming up?
We're working on a remix of a song I used to do back in the days, and that'll be a big surprise next year. And
you're gonna send it to me first. I get to hear it first, right?
Of course. And another cool project we're working on there's a big star in Germany who also made it to the United States, Hildegard Neef.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Hildegard would have been 100 years next year, and they're doing a big documentary on her, and they asked me and a couple of other artists to do the musical soundtrack. And I picked two of her biggest hits in Germany and did the English version of it. And again, we tried to recreate the 80s sound, and it turned out really wonderful. And I'm really looking forward when it premieres at the Berlinale next year. And that'll be the first time, to have a soundtrack in a movie. Oh no, that's not right. I had Lassiter, Beware the Winners. That was also a movie soundtrack.
Now, I'm amazed that that's only going to be 2 soundtracks for you, because you have done a lot of quality work, my friend.
You know me, I try to do my very best, and when everybody's happy, I'm happy.
I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I thank you for joining us, and I wish you all the best, my friend.
Thank you, Travis, and looking forward to chatting again with you.
Yeah, maybe you'll call me up again when I'm sitting on the back porch again. Or this time I'll call you and you can be on your back porch.
Deal. Bye-bye. Thank you.
And that, folks, is the legendary Taco, everybody. We have his links below, and in the credits we also have his videos and where you can catch him on his social media accounts.
What?
Really? Quiche? You got a problem with quiche now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm tired of listening to them bicker. Welcome back. John's up.
What do you think about quiche? I don't want to hear about quiche.
Okay, stop with the quiche.
You want to hear about quiche? Okay. That's fine. Then we can also talk about, though, how about a woman that was trapped inside a driverless Waymo car in California?
What?
Yes, they have driverless taxis now.
But
Completely autonomous. But here's the fun thing about all of this, though. How it was stopped. A random guy saw her in the car, walked in front of it, the car stopped, and he just went there trying to flirt with her the entire time.
this is why you wear stilettos.
Oh, she's locked in there, and he's not letting in. He's trying to get his number and everything else. It was all filmed on X. It was hilarious.
Again, stilettos. They make great fashion and great weapons.
Oh, I know. The amount of effort this guy was doing, that was funny.
You know, guys can be like that. Yeah, I'm not very surprised.
We make a lot of effort. Women don't appreciate it.
Well, I'm sure
They
she would.
kick us aside when the last thing they can get out of us, they get out of us. And we sit
You
at
still got
home.
blood left.
Okay, anyways, I'm sure she would have loved a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to come to her rescue, which, thanks to scientists, we are getting closer to being able to copy his web shooting abilities. So there are scientists at Tufts University who created a technology that mimics the web slinging that Spider-Man can do, and whenever they shoot it, I don't even say it. Whatever.
Is it going to be anatomically correct?
No.
Is it going to be sticky?
Put in their
It is actually sticky. It is sticky enough to lift 80 times of its own weight.
Wow.
So scientists are doing their part in allowing people to try to be more like superheroes. And yet we still have no Batman, which to me just means that rich are the real slackers.
I have something in common with Spider-Man. Awesome. Okay.
You shoot webbing out of your butt.
He shoots something out of his butt and it does not smell pretty.
Right. Okay, speaking of butts, Cleveland Browns butts. Star quarterback Deshaun Watson. Well, he kind of did, actually. Deshaun Watson, he decided to walk away right in the middle of a game, and I'm guessing to go get another massage, but you figured this is the same guy who had 30 massages that turned into sexual things in Houston, Texas, when he played for the Texans, and kind of the reason he got ran out of Houston. I think he'd had enough of that and kind of figured out not to do those anymore, especially in the middle of a game.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I had money on it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole weird way of him to try to figure out what a Groupon is.
I mean, gross.
Yeah, speaking of Groupons, I actually have one for 2-for-1 sushi. You want to go?
No, thank you. I don't need your fish.
Okay.
What the hell?
Lisa, we're going to dinner.
All right. Fine.
And on that note, thank you, America, for joining us for another episode of the Random News. May the good news
be yours.
Oh, God, it's leopard print.
What?
Oh.
If I stay still, it's like he doesn't touch me. Not yet.
Oh, his cheetah just went all over your savannah.
Oh, what the heck?
Don't worry, it was a small cheetah.
Oh, God.